Start recording. So hopefully it's appeared on your screen saying that you're being recorded now.
Yeah, that's fine. I just missed that. Cool.
Fantastic. So thank you, Martin, for taking the time to speak with me today. I'm talking to you because we're trying to look at ways to encourage people into the food industry, just to show them that there isn't one or two lines of jobs they can go into. There's a huge range of different areas that they can go into in the food industry. It's such a massive and diverse industry, and talking to people like yourself is a great way just to showcase this to people. So first of all, I'd just like to ask you, could you tell people who you are and where you work?
Yep, I'm Martin Sutherland. I'm the Commercial and Marketing Director at the Food Industry Centre at Cardiff Metropolitan University.
Fantastic. So how did you get into this line of work in the first place, as in the food industry?
Well, originally I studied agriculture and food marketing at Aberystwyth University, and on graduation I stayed on to do some research. I lectured for a bit in food marketing at the university, but I think at the age of about 21 I thought it was time to get a real job, so I joined McVitie's on the graduate programme, which was great. So I started life as a salesman, driving around the West Country and Bristol, selling digestives and hobnobs and biscuits, etc. I then, as part of the program, went into national account management, then I went into marketing, and so I've stayed in marketing really all that time. So I've had a mixture of marketing in manufacturing jobs like McVitie's, but also I worked at Tesco's, at Summerfield, in retail marketing jobs. So yeah, that's how I got into it really. So I was always interested in marketing, and was fortunate enough to find a career in marketing in the food industry.
Fantastic. Was there much of a difference then going from manufacturing into retail?
Yeah, quite significant. Retail tends to be a lot more fast moving from a marketing perspective, which is great. A lot closer to the consumer, because you literally have shoppers, consumers, customers on your premises. Tend to be able to move more quickly because of the position that the retailer's got within the supply chain. So an example would be we wanted to, at Tesco's, we wanted to launch a new range of premium sausages. It was quite new to the market, and working closely with one of our suppliers, we were able to turn that around in a month or two. Whereas if we'd done that in a big branded manufacturer, that could have been a 12-month program. So yeah, lots of differences. But marketing in food, the marketing principles are the same. It's just how you apply them are a bit different, whether it's retail or manufacturing.
All right. So what do you find are your greatest challenges in your current role?
In the current role, it's the challenges, but also I suppose part of why the role is so enjoyable is the variation in what we do. So, and that's sort of typical of marketing. So in one minute we might be helping a manufacturer to develop new products on the basis of looking at a market, seeing where the opportunities are, helping the company with its commercial analysis of its products. So that might be one morning. The following day might be working with, in our case, the Welsh Government, advising on the impact of maybe some new legislation, or perhaps a new sustainable brand that the government may want to introduce. So it's very variable, but at the heart of it should be being driven by what the consumer wants or what the customer's thinking. So understanding research, understanding insights. And contrary to popular belief, marketing isn't just about social media and putting brochures together.
So what kind of skills do you use on a regular basis that help with your job?
Real mixture, from sometimes quite analytical, so being fairly good with numbers and analysis is quite important. Communication skills are very relevant, both understanding how to communicate to consumers, but also internally. The ability to think creatively, because sometimes often we need to find solutions, and those solutions may need some creative thinking. Teamwork is really important. Nobody is going to find that solution on their own. They're going to need colleagues to help. The ability to work collaboratively, the chances of ever working on a project where it's just your own work are very, very minimal. So the ability to work with people from a diverse group and background. So understanding how to work with technical people, finance people, sales people, that's a really important part of the role. And often the marketing role is about identifying the problem, finding the solution, and then working with colleagues from different functions to deliver that solution. So yeah, I think that, and in the manufacturing side, I'd say as a brand manager or as a marketing manager, I was brand manager of Penguin Biscuits for a while. And one of the important skills in that role is to be able to bring diverse groups together and have them deliver solutions.
Wow, love Penguin Biscuits. Still like them today.
Well, I put the jokes on Penguin Biscuits. That was my only claim to fame, and it's been downhill ever since.
Yeah, you came up with the jokes, did you?
I was in charge of the marketing when we decided to put jokes on, and being McVitie's, we had lots of money, so we paid an educational consultancy to write the jokes. So they were aimed at, from memory, children aged between 7 and 11. So so that they had an educational element to the jokes. They're not as funny as they used to be, though.
I just keep on getting told about dad jokes now. So if you were recruiting for a graduate, someone that's just come out of university, what would be the key things that you would be looking on, from their CV and covering letter point of view? What would stand out?
The academic side's sort of important, but whether you got a first or a 2-1, or a 2-2, it's not a deal breaker. I would be looking for somebody who's got some energy, some passion, some drive, that really wants to progress. I mean, the food industry is great, but it's a challenging industry. So people that are just happy to just get by, they'll do all right, but they won't prosper. And so in the food industry, you really need people who are going to drive hard, who are ambitious, who will go that extra mile. And sometimes on a CV, it's not the obvious thing that stands out. So it might be that in their spare time, a student has set up their own business. Maybe it's a street food business they've set up weekends or for festivals. And it's that sort of thing that's going to stand out as much as getting a 2-1 in their dissertation on brand marketing. So I think also what stands out for me are applicants that have had experience outside of academia. So maybe a year off, maybe since the age of 14 they've been waiting or waitressing in a pub or a restaurant. It's those sorts of things that just make them stand out. But as well as don't have to be Einstein, but to have reasonably good academics as well, because some of the concepts, some of the stuff that we do, it requires a little bit of brain power occasionally to solve the problem.
Oh, fantastic. So can you give any advice then to current students or those coming into university in the first place that'll help them on their road to landing their first job?
Get some experiences outside of just the academic world. So volunteer in holidays if you can, get some work experience in a related area. So if you're in the technical field, try and get some placements or summer jobs with food companies. Get some international experience if you can. Get some experiences, and maybe through volunteering, that show that you can work as a team or you can lead a team. Get some achievements, so that it is quite brutal in terms of the application process for jobs. But a picture, I'm going to get a bunch of CVs through like that, maybe 50, 60 CVs, and I've got to whittle that down to 10 to interview. And there's got to be something in those 10 to jump off the page, rather than just, I've got 3 A levels, I went to school, I played netball, I played rugby. What else have you done that makes me go, that's a little bit different? So, it's that. But also, and don't overlook the the need to just demonstrate you've done pretty well at your academic stuff as well, because if you're struggling on the academics, you maybe set up a street food business, but there may still be question marks about whether or not you're committed to the course. So it's just getting that balance right. But I think what I would say to reassure people is somebody with a first class degree or predicted to get a first class that's got nothing else on their CV will probably be overlooked for somebody who's got a 2-1 or predicted for a 2-1, who's got a lot more interesting stuff on their CV.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Martin, for going through all of this. I think it's been really useful, really helpful. So yeah, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Simon. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.